Screaming black power is not going to feed my damn child. Running around here looking all ignorant like the Hebrew Israelites is not going to feed my damn child. Calling myself a Moor is not going to feed my damn child or keep these cops from shooting down my children. So why the hell would I subscribe to things such as this foolishness? These black Europeans such as Jesse Jackass and Al Sharpton, these people are sold out. They have nothing to do with you. To hell with a Black Lives Matter. It's being funded by George Soros anyway. Why the hell would I care about some damn Black Lives Matter? I'm labeling myself black. And psychologically, I have things going on within me. How can I go out with 100 more people who look like me, just an appearance, and say that we need to be liberated when I'm not liberated? Liberation starts with you first. That's first and foremost. Everything has to be liberated within. Then the outside will be emanated by that which is going on in the inside. So if you are a good person on the inside, then you make your environment a good environment. It overpowers the bad. So how can we claim to be Black Power movements when we are individually having a psychological effect from things in our own households that we grew up in? You see, we take things and we run with it at face value because it sounds good. It's just like the gang movement. 9 times out of 10, when you see people joining gangs, this is because they need protection. This is because they need protection, because they are voided of something that they did not have in their household. Not in all cases, but in many cases, they are voided of something that they did not have in that household. And sometimes it is the father being around. And when the father is not around, you miss that masculine energy that is needed to be able to alleviate the structure of the pressure that society is placing on you when it is time to activate that power that you need in order to make your own movement within yourself individually. You see, because when you have that construct of the individual liberation, first and foremost, this here will show you the fake or the artificial within the movement that you are moving in, because everybody that's in a movement is not thinking alike. Some people is in it to be seen. Some people is in it for other agendas to get paid, because they are getting paid by the government, because the movement was set up by the government, which many are that you see before us today. So how can we move together in unity when we all have something going on? I'm gonna give you another example. If my house is burning down, why the hell would I run next door to the house that's burning next to me with a pail of water to put their fire out, and I'm not dealing with my fire first? After I put their fire out and come back home, I don't have no home. Do you get what I'm saying? So we have to look into the internal issues that we have, because we are spiritual people. We're not physical beings. You cannot say that what you have or what you are is black. You can't call a soul black. You can't call a soul African or American. You can't call a soul a Moor, because it wasn't these things before it came out the physical womb. Remember, you come through 2 wombs. You come through a spiritual womb, which identifies your spiritual bloodline. Everybody comes from a star system, their own individual star system, and every star system don't get alike. They don't get along. So if every star system don't get along, how do you think that 500 people who is marching with flags claiming to get black power or black liberation, how do you think that frequency is going to add up if spiritually where you really come from is not balanced? Because it's bigger than what you think you are. You are not what you see when you look in the mirror. That's not you looking back at you. That is not you looking back at the you that you see here. So when we are talking about acquiring power, power is what you are. So when you have people taking your energy, because there are people out here that can manipulate your energy. And I say this to a lot of the women. You have to watch the brothers that you allow to go inside of you, because that sperm is brain fluid. That's what sperm is. Sperm is brain fluid. And if he's not sincere when he goes into your womb, then he's placing a spell on you. You hear the rapper 50 Cent when he say, I got the magic stick? That's true. This phallus that we have is a magic stick. And if we don't have sincere energy, when we put our phallus into you, then we are placing a spell on you. That's why it's so easy for a lot of women to get out of abusive relationships. I saw my mother go through this. And I had to help my mother get out of the spell that she was in. Because unfortunately, fragments of that spell jumped onto me. And later on in my life, I did things that was out of the jurisdiction of who I really was. And so therefore I had to back away from the world and break my spell as well. Because when you go look for other people who claim to know voodoo, who claim to do this and that, claim to do rituals, they show you the general aspect, but they don't show you the parts that can bounce. See, a spell in voodoo is like rubber. Frequency is like rubber. So if you throw in a frequency of a spell towards something that's not there, it'll bounce back onto you. This is called the laws of attraction. So you have to really be careful when you are dealing with people, because people can be showing you something but taking something away from you at the same time. And this is true. So when you allow, not only you have to watch the brothers going into you, sisters, you have to watch who you keep in your circle. And this goes for the brothers as well. Because we all have a geomagnetic force field that we are surrounded by, that we can't see, but it's there. Air exists. You can't see it, but it's there. You can feel it. So when you are in the company of negative people, it don't necessarily have to show. They could be smiling at you, right? Buying you things, buying you drinks, take you to the club, but it's what's in their mental, it's how they feel about you, which is going to affect you. Now you are leaving the club and you feel some type of way. And you think that this person was in your best interest, but the whole time they were throwing a spell on you because they had you closed up in their force field, throwing frequencies onto you, and you didn't even know it. You get what I'm saying? So when we are, I know you want me to elaborate much further on the conscious community. What do I feel about the conscious community? I will elaborate on that in a way that, you know, the best way to go at this issue when it comes to the conscious community, because it really don't matter how I feel. You get what I'm saying? But the conscious community to me is a WCW, it's entertainment. So when you see people in the conscious community going against each other, they're not really going against each other for real. They have to bring the emotional excitement out in the people. So when it's time for them to go to debate, these people will buy the tickets. If they don't have any type of emotional excitement, this all comes with psychology. When people are excited about something because they don't have anything going on as far as they don't know who they are, they're trying to find out who they are through history and things, which you have your own individual history, as I spoke of before. They will jump on any type of wagon to be a part of the games that is being portrayed and the illusion that they are digesting. So to me, the conscious community is a jurisdiction of entertainment to keep the people at an emotional state, because the things that they are doing has nothing to do with their own individual liberation. You see black people killing each other, right? Why don't I see people in the conscious community running up inside of Planned Parenthood? We say we love the black woman and we love the black children. So why are we allowing these Planned Parenthood systems to still operate in our community? We fighting each other, so we can't see that. That's number one. Why are we still killing each other instead of running up on a cop to kill a cop for killing our people? Because we're busy fighting each other. See, all of this is a mask to close your eyes to the reality of what's really going on. Now, that's as far as I'll go with that. But you have to be careful who you allow to tell you what's right and what's wrong for you. If you are not defining your right and wrong, then somebody else will do it for you. And if somebody else is doing it for you, you don't know if they are doing it for an agenda or not. Again, when you study the lion, we call wildlife, there's nothing wild about lions. They're not wildlife. Just because they act a certain way and they don't have a conscious of the way that they act for a reason, just because this is their common sense. This is nature. This is their spiritual part of them telling them that this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you survive. But that has been taken away from us because they needed that part of us, our spiritual morals, to control us, to tell us how we're supposed to survive. So when you see a lion going to kill for its food, you call it wild. But it wasn't processed. It wasn't taught anything. So it's natural. Everything that is born natural. If you were brought out of your mother's womb and you never stepped into a church, or you was not in an environment where religions existed, or these lion educational facilities existed, you wouldn't be the person that you are today. Yes, of course, you will appear to be crazy to the people who are raised in these systems, but you wouldn't be crazy. You'll be going by common sense. You wouldn't need much to eat because your mind hasn't been opened to that type of enslavement to say that you need this type of car to survive in society, or you need this type of food to survive in society. It don't take much for us to live or to survive. Because at the end of the day, as long as you have peace, then you have yourself. You have your survival techniques as long as you have peace. But when your peace is blocked from the systems that is enslaving that part of you that's supposed to be natural, then you cannot see your survival tactics because they are showing you how you're supposed to survive. And when they are showing you how they are supposed to survive, then who benefits from that? It is the people that are showing you how you're supposed to survive. You get what I'm saying? So, we have to be careful because we think that certain things affect us in the physical, but it's the things that you don't see that affect you more so. When you are in an environment of people who spend more time doing things that is not effective, because a lot of people say, well, Osei Kufuor, we see you doing, I do more than just videos. My queen know this. I do more than just videos. You know how many women I done talked out of going to Planned Parenthood to abort their kids? You know how many black women I've talked out of that? I've taken them from under the spell of the system to let them know that this is not natural. Yeah, I had to put them under fear, but sometimes putting someone under fear is good as long as it's for the right agenda. So when I tell, our so-called black women that you don't see nature going to abort their children, even though they don't work, they don't have supermarkets, and they can take care of their children, they automatically say, you know what, you're right. We are fortunate to have common sense. And so since we are fortunate to have common sense, we are to live as nature, because what is nature? Nature is the spiritual jurisdiction. And so they had to take you out of nature. Remember, our ancestors used to worship nature. They didn't worship the things that we had today, technology and all of this bull crap. They didn't have. They could have put these things together, but they chose to worship nature. Why? Because nature was the spiritual part of who they were. When you harm nature, you are harming yourself. When you ignore nature, you are ignoring yourself. This is why we're sick, because we ignore the herbs that is in nature. We ignore the natural medicines. That medicine that's in nature, that's you. So when you get sick and you ignore that nature, then guess what? You went against your own self-preservation as far as you being able to sustain yourself as far as the health part. You don't need health care to exist. You don't need a governmental system that has a military that kills people for no damn reason to teach you how to live and how to eat. You don't need health care. All you need is your common sense to say, well, you know what? I know that pork consists of trichinail worms that can withstand 5,000 degree heat. So if I eat it, I know that these things is in my body, going up my spinal cord, into my brain, causing me to have stroke. You get what I'm saying? So, and not only that, but meat contains corexit. Corexit is something that they use to damage oil, which is carbon, which is melanin. When the BP oil spill situation occurred, this was an experiment that they was doing on a worldwide, on a global experimentation type of thing. So when we are looking at these things on television, we are actually looking at something that is affecting us. So when you're taking meat into your body, you are actually taking in the energy of the animal and the pain and emotion of the animal that they felt when they were slaughtering the animal. Just think about it. Energy jumped from one body to another. So if you're eating a pig and you slaughter a pig and it was in pain, the last time that you know, when they slaughtered that pig, it was in pain and emotional. When you digest that pig, what you think you're gonna feel? You're not yourself. You become a part of that pig now. You don't become the pig, but you become a part of the pig's emotions. And you'll start to act out like that pig. This is why we are so damn hoggish to each other. We so selfish to one another. I'm talking about as far as giving each other money and stuff. I'm talking about as far as moral values. It's easy for us to bite each other because we eat the things that causes us to lose these type of moral values that we need to be able to sustain us individually so that we can sustain our environment. Because who you are on the inside will determine your environment on the outside. You have two people that exist in you. You have a conscious person, and then you have a subconscious person. That's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the physical mind. The subconscious mind is what you really are. That is the mind that keeps the illusion in power whenever you are feeding your attention to things such as politics, to things such as who's going to be president, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. It doesn't really matter. You have to be your own president. Every day that you wake up, you should elect yourself, and you don't need nobody's votes to elect yourself. You have to be yourself. You have to be your own government. I don't give a damn about they saying, well, on a $2 bill, it was a black man, it was a more. It don't matter. That's not you. It's not sustaining you. You don't have a million of those $2 bills with the black face on it that the Moors is talking about. So how does that sustain you? We have to live in the reality. Even though we are in an illusion, we have to live in the reality, which is in our own mind. We have to create our own world in our mind and shut it down. We define our right and wrong. Because when you allow somebody else to define your right and wrong, again, you can be enslaved. When somebody smack you, turn the other cheek. That's enslaving you. That's somebody else creating your own laws. Christians don't even follow the laws of their own self, of their own God, their own so-called God. How do I know this? Because they depend on a judge in the court to tell them that, okay, well, this such is guilty. But I thought like your Bible said, if your Bible said to lean not into man for your own understanding, why are you leaning into man for your own understanding? Because this is why. The system is your God. You know how I know that the system is your God? Because the system takes care of you. It gives you your food stamps. The system takes care of you. It gives you your health care. Even though you know what's right and wrong, you know what you shouldn't be putting in your body. You don't need no health care if you was eating right there. So the system is your God. It's taking care of you. You depend on a system to create laws to keep you in place. Do you get what I'm saying? So, it does not matter where you are at this point in time in what we call life. Everything that's inside of you right now is going to reflect onto what's going to be happening in your next life or in the next dimension that you go into. You got to watch how you think, because those thoughts is becoming an act in another life that you are going to be going to once you leave here. You have to be careful. All right? So with that much said, Black Science TV 111, Osei Kufuor, I'm out. Peace.